Right now on the Adam Carolla Show. This Week in Rage.
You're crapping in our punch bowl.
We'll count down the top 5 things that pissed Adam off this week, as voted by you at AdamCarolla.com.
Now, look, a lot of people have that thing where it's like, hey, man, let bygones be bygones. Kiss my ass.
Gentlemen, start your anger on the Adam Carolla Show.
Wow. I tell you, I am loaded for bear this morning. I'm staring down at this list. Now, I'm standing up. Normally, I stare down at this list, and maybe 3 out of the 4 things kind of speak to me, or 3 out of the 5 things speak to me, but I'm looking at every one of these, and I am angry.
Well, 3 out of the 5 spoke to the listeners, as voted, by the way, on AdamCarolla.com. 25%, 31%, and 33% for the top 3. Big cluster.
Very close.
Very close.
All right, shall I get the bell?
Why not?
I feel like I like the bell now.
You get the bell, we'll play the intro. All right, here we go.
This Week in Rage.
I'm angry. What a dick. I pay taxes, bitch. What?
Number 5.
This goddamn silly string. Lawn darts were outlawed 30 years ago because they were dangerous. This toxic, flammable compote of Caltrans orange napalm for some reason is sold in every goddamn kid's store across the land. Have you ever had an a-hole bring this horrible substance to your house? You spray it all. I had some bitch bring this to my house. They spray it all around. First off, you've seen the home videos, right? There is no more flammable substance known to man. It goes spraying out of a can, and you sprayed at the person just as they're blowing out the candles. Could there be a worse idea? Some bitch brought this S over to my house. I swear to you, it's been 10 years. I can bring you to the point in my entry hall where you'll still see the bright orange S that is now cleaving to the ceiling of my entry hall. Once it hits stucco, once it hits latex-based paint, it can never be removed. It can't be removed from clothing. It has a horrible toxic smell, and it's horribly flammable. Other than that, it's a great party favor. Other than those few things of it being essentially napalm and the most flammable, toxic substance known to man that can never be cleaned off carpet, it is a party. Look, the only people worse than the a-holes who sell this stuff, and by the way, this silly string should have been outlawed when they did lawn darts, are the a-holes who bring it to your house. Look, do me a favor. Next time, just bring spray paint and tag the inside of my goddamn house. At least the smell's not as bad and it's not quite as flammable. You go ahead and write your gang signs on my back when I'm blowing out the candles, you idiots. Silly goddamn string.
Number 4.
Ugh, the Watts Towers. We all have to pretend like we like this eyesore because it's in Watts and some old crazy guy made it. I took a field trip there when I was 9. I was bored off my ass. I went over there. I was 9 years old, and I was like, this is awesome. We have 22 feet of number 5 rebar that a crazy old man covered in tile grout and stuck pieces of old 7-Up and Dr. Pepper bottles, too. This is awesome. Where next, by the way? The dump? What? Is it? Really? This is all we have? Then, by the way, you know you're out of attractions as a city when, well, we can either go to the Watts Towers or we can go to a La Brea tar pit. Over here's a hole filled with used transmission fluid, and over here is a thing a crazy guy put up in his backyard. Hey, really, look, you know what it looks like? Remember after the 9/11 towers went down?
Yeah.
That's about it. That's the majesty of the Watts Towers. It's you sticking a bunch of broken seashells and glass to some rebar that is shaped like a cone about 20 feet off the ground. It should be bulldozed. It's one big tetanus shot waiting to happen. When I'm, by the way, in charge of the city, first thing I do is go over there with a Sawzall, a nice 18-volt DeWalt, cut that Watts Tower right down, and I go toss it into the La Brea tar pits. And then I fold my arms. I go, any questions? Anybody else have any great ideas?
Number 3.
Other cities have like Space Needles and mountain ranges and stuff. We have a pit filled with tar, and a crazy old black man decided to take some rebar and bend it into a rusty pretzel.
Number 3.
Awesome. And by the way, don't take kids there. Hey, kids, you want to learn about crazy old men who make rusty piles of junk in their backyard? Or who wants to learn about horrible construction practices or bad engineering? Come on down.
This Week in Rage.
All right. No air pump. No air compressor at the gas stations. What is... You want to talk... Can I ask this? Fall from grace. any greater free fall than the American gas station. I'm not that old, and I remember when I used to go to the gas station with moms and pops. Gas was 60 cents a gallon, and a guy ran out in a bow tie. He was like out of breath. He had a squeegee in one hand. He had a smile painted across his face. He wanted to check your water. He wanted to check your oil. He wanted to know if you needed any air. He'd do that thing where it's like, well, you're about a quart low, ma'am, and your right rear tire's a couple pounds low. Let me go ahead and toss that in. While he was squeegeeing the goddamn... He literally took his penis and used it like a monkey uses his tail. Prehensile penis. And he had that squeegee, and he was using his prehensile penis. Write that down. That's my domain name. I'm going to register that thing.
.com.
Using his prehensile penis like a spider monkey to squeegee off your windshield while he's checking the dipstick, while he's using his foot to put air in your tire. Now what do you got? Steely-eyed foreigner behind 9 inches of Lexan giving you a stink eye.
Hello.
Well, you dodge with bullets out there.
Hello.
Now, what do you got? Well, of course, there's no water. There's no air. There is a squeegee that some drifter used to rape his girlfriend with that's sitting in a dried-out bucket of dirt waiting to die. That's all you have at the modern-day gas station. No trading stamps, no check your oil, none of that. Now, every car's driving around with no air in the tires because they don't have air there anymore, and people don't have air compressors at home. Thus, it is costing us millions, nay, billions over the years, because not only are the cars getting 5% worse fuel mileage because the tires aren't properly inflated, but we're filling the landfills with these tires and using all the energy it takes to recycle them, remove them, repair them, put them back on time because they were wearing out prematurely. So this is a governmental problem, and the government needs to get involved with this. Gas stations need to have free goddamn air, or you can't sell cigarettes to minors, Habib.
Number 2.
God damn, I'll tell you, I've lived in this town my whole life, and the Mexicans are getting out of control with the decorating of the trucks. It started with the Brahma Bull decal. Now they've officially just turned into NASCARs. They might as well just get sponsorship. Sunoco. Yeah, it's sponsoring my gardener's truck. For the love of Christ, if I have to ride in traffic behind another one that has the rest in peace thing, 1968 to 1989, we get it. Chewy bought it in the drive-by. We get it. It's happened to everybody. We've all lost people in our lives. When I was in high school, I had a good friend who bought it on a motorcycle. Later on, I had a good friend die of AIDS. Later on, my grandpa died. But I can still see out the rear window of my goddamn truck. Jesus Christ. Go home and worship. Light a few effing candles and sprinkle some ashes over the goddamn open sea. But I don't want to start crying every time I get stuck in traffic because I have to think about the kid that bought it in the drive-by. Decorate your effing apartment, not your effing truck. And that goes for all of you putting everything. Whether it's a picture of, what's his name, taking a leak on the Chevy bow tie, or whether it's a have a nice day a-hole, or whether you want to hang a big set of plastic nuts from the differential of your truck. Knock it off. Save your bad taste for your crappy apartment and your fat old lady. Jesus Christ. And here's another thing. You ain't in Mexico anymore. Knock it off.
Number 1.
I went to the Dodger game last night to throw out the first 9 pitches. Bounced the first 8, finally threw one that painted the outside corner at 40 miles an hour. Went out there and decided to celebrate or drown my sorrows in a couple of Bud Lights, so I hit the stand. Ordered 3 Bud Lights. 3 Bud Lights. Not 3 Anchor Steams. Not 3 Sierra Nevadas. 3 Bud Lights. $30. $30. I could have... you can get a halfway decent prostitute for $30. $30 for an effing 3 Bud Lights at the Dodger game. And then I started thinking about it. What's one of these kegs pump out? How many 16-ounce cups is one of these kegs good for? About 120. $1,200 you have to make on each keg. And by the way, a keg of Bud Light is $65, $70, and you ain't paying that, Dodger Stadium. You're paying half that. So you make a $35 investment and you make $1,200 on it? Look, I don't mind being raped, but dry? Come on, Dodgers, at least toss a little lube on before the raping begins. You're making 200,000% on each keg, and I know you hide behind the, well, we don't want you to get too drunk. Well, then don't sell beer if you don't want people to get drunk. It's a very convenient excuse. Look, charge $5 for all the poor guys that have the Rest in Peace Chewy decal on the back of the truck in their parking lot and aren't rich guys that get paid to complain for a living. Thank you.
Until next time.
Hold on a second.
This week.
Oh, what an ass.
In Rage.
Imagine a Jew doing this. Moisha.
Because that's what we're all named.
Moisha died. I got to get some decals made up and stick it on the back.
Going to drive around my Volvo with an in memorial.
Volvo wagon.
Calvin spinning in.
All right. Nana died. Let's go ahead and get that decal made up.
Listen, I know you're upset from This Week in Rage, but I have great news. Not just for you, but really for everyone. Prehensilpenis.com is available.
All right, let's get that.
Hurry over to GoDaddy.
I feel like I saw that GoDaddy commercial 250,000 times before I had any idea.
What they did?
GoDaddy, they make sports bras, I think, or a Hot Wings place. Pretty sure it's a Hot Wings place. Not sure.
Do they place temporary workers in offices?
It's like, by the way, you know you've dropped the ball when you're advertising and everyone knows your commercial, knows your name, and has no idea what your product is. All right, let's take ourselves a break. What the hell's going on here?
The Wheeze.
My buddy, the Wheeze.